Welcome to day 2 of the 2023 Red Bull X-Alps. I'm Tarquin Cooper, and this is probably one of the most extraordinary days I've ever witnessed in the last 10 years of this race at any rate. Today we've seen athletes spread out over almost 300 kilometres now. Just an extraordinary day for the leaders up front, who've gone about 230 kilometres today in the air, most of it in the air. Absolutely astounding performance from so many athletes. It's a story of the gaggle flying together. It's a story of these new young athletes coming together and pushing forward, and this just amazing talent coming through. It's a story of amazing weather. And I caught up with Gavin McClurg, as always, to hear more about it and get his insights on the day. This is what he had to say. What a day, Gavin. What's your take on it?
This was just amazing. You know, I'm thinking back to some of the days where I wasn't out in the lead, which was a lot of them, and sitting here at turn point 3 and watching the folks that were later struggle against the headwinds. And then now I've watched the last 3 get out and really struggle to get going. It's just soul crushing. It reminds me of those tough days which you have in the X-Alps. And on the flip side, I was out with the lead gaggle this morning, and we made a quick fast run to turn point 3. The flying was amazing, and they have just crushed distance all the way to Laramousse. And you could say quite happily that they're having one. So yeah, the race is on. The only thing you could say at this point is that it's the Red Bull X-Alps. A lot will change, but boy, today was fast and amazing to have so many people right on top of each other.
I mean, that's it, isn't it? It's the story of the gaggle. I don't think we've ever seen a race where so many athletes are, flying wingtip to wingtip together. I mean, all the way across from Chiemgau Achental to Laumus. There are about 15 athletes just flying all together. That must be an amazing feeling for them.
It really is, and it's just there's so much cushion in that. You know, gaggle flying is team flying, and you're really working together. And when you have pilots at this caliber and this high level, they can work together, and there's just no way for the people behind to catch them. They're finding the cores faster. They're all spreading out on glide and looking for the better liftier lines. And that we always say that there's no friend. We always say you're all friends until final glide, and so they are really working together. I mean, there's still 900 kilometers to go, but this is really special for them to be able to fly together, work together. I mean, launch this morning above Loafer was just ping, 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 ping. There's 11 gliders that went off in the span of a few minutes, and it was pretty steep launch. It required some skill, and they're really working together. I saw Maxime launch well before the rest of the group and just hang out. He's showing a lot of poise, a lot of discipline. He was just hanging out thinking, hey, there's a long race here. I might as well work with all these folks.
He looks like he's enjoying himself this race. He does seem a lot more relaxed, a lot more confident. And in previous Red Bull X-Alps, often he's just looked super determined and very, very, and sometimes a little stressed. But he seems to be really have found his groove.
I would agree. And how about Aaron Duragatti? I think this really matches his style. He's all about style in his flying, the Italian stallion. And he's coming off a great Worlds as Maxime is. And he just looks relaxed. And I walked quite a ways with him last night, and he's having fun, with his supporters. And he's really in the right groove. His supporters are not pilots. These are mountain athletes. He's making all the decisions, and he's making good decisions. He's flying well, again, flying disciplined. But he kind of joked with me last night that yesterday was, we were kind of being wimpy. And I said, what do you mean? I thought you guys were doing great. And he said, we could have flown faster. But he's just, he's staying with the gaggle. He's team flying, and there's a lot of racing left to be done.
Yeah, I camped with him last night, and he didn't look quite so organised this morning. He had a whole ton of kind of bags open. He was trying to grab bits of clothing, bits of gear, and he's you have to leave me alone now. I need to sort my stuff out. But
Right.
such a strong athlete, and as you say, it's a really important point you make that a lot of the teams, they will have a dedicated person doing the strategy, the navigation, and in the past for Aaron that was Eli Egger, and this edition he's kind of doing it all himself, just kind of on a wing and a prayer and by feeling.
Exactly. And look at Ellie. I mean, she's really flying well. She flew all the way to turn point three, even though they were hammering into the wind in the back, and not the back of the pack, but mid pack. And she landed, and she's smiling, and she's confident. She's enjoying it, and she learned a lot from Erin in those X-Alps, and she's bringing it here.
And lastly, what about Kriegel Maurer? Now, I was talking to another former athlete, Tom Payne, earlier, and he was saying, in previous editions, Kriegel maybe only had one or two challenges, but this time around, this is a 15 horse race basically, and any one of them could win this Red Bull X-Alps. So it's going to be just so much harder for Kriegel to make his move. And also something Kriegel said to me was that this is not a route that lends itself to making divergent routes. It's pretty much a fixed set course. Pal, he had an amazing race. He was first in here to Lermoos. He's on fire as well. So many athletes are just on fire. And the race has only just got started. So still everything to play for. Gavin, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for your continued insights and expertise. It's absolutely invaluable to have you part of the team. So since I spoke to Gavin, it's been an amazing few hours. As of about 10 minutes ago, both Kriegel Maurer and Maxime Pinot had tagged turn point 5. It's not a signboard, it's a cylinder. Athletes have to reach within 3 kilometres of that cylinder. They'd approached from the north side and managed to glide back down. The others in that sort of gaggle group are approaching as well. But really interestingly is the move of Tanguy Renaud-Good, who's fast becoming really one of the athletes to watch in this race. French athlete, extremely impressive both on the ground and in the air. One of the strongest athletes we saw in the prologue actually, and very unlucky not to have finished up on the podium. He took a line further to the south. He came down through the Engadine Valley, and I spoke to Ferdy Fogel, the race director, earlier, and he was explaining that this is perhaps a more tactical approach. It means he's better placed for the rest of the evening to get within touching distance of Davos. These athletes now have Fiche in their sights, the Rhone Valley, and to get over that, there's the policeman's crossing, as it's sometimes called, that where the Rhone and the Rhine meet at Andermatt. And as long as the cloud base is high, that won't be a problem at all. Sometimes it can be that a real convergence zone there, winds going in, strong winds that they have to face. But if they can get up high tomorrow, absolutely they're going to be charging down the Rhone Valley, which is a paragliding super highway. They've got to land obviously in Fiche, then cross the Aletsch Glacier to Frutigen. This is proving to be a very, very fast race. Indeed, the race's co-founder Ulrich Grill, who's started this race with the late Hannes Ark back in 2003, believes this could be one of the fastest on record. Of course, it's not always the same course, so it's difficult to compare editions, but early predictions are that you could see the first winners coming into Dalamsey as early as this weekend, which would be amazing. But of course, it's a long race for all the rest of the field out there. Now, I've got the leaderboard here, so let's have a look at that. This was as of 8 p.m, so an hour ago. Still some changes, no doubt, since then. In 10th place was Tanguy Renaud-Good, which doesn't again reflect that amazing move that he made. 9th, Tommy Friedrich, who's having a great race. Also his teammate, friend and colleague Simon Oberauner. Good to see these two. They're both working as a pair. They both work in the same flight school. Damien Lacaze is currently in 7th place. Tobias Grossrabacher also having a fantastic race, was lying in 6th, with Patrick von Kennel in 5th. Aaron Duragati another storming performance, as you heard earlier from Gavin in fourth. Pal Takat, I mean, every one of these athletes is just doing extraordinarily well. Kriegel currently lying in second place, and Max Pinot was in first place as of 8 p.m. this evening. Whether they still will be that lineup, that rundown tomorrow, who can tell? Promises to be another epic day. I hope you'll follow on live tracking and live with me and Gavin McClurg of Facebook from tomorrow 8:30 and 9:30 in the morning respectively. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.